All right. Take a look at number 7 from 6.2. So it says, in a recent international sport competition, the top 3 countries, country A, country B, and country C, won a total of 127 medals. Country B won 6 more medals than country C. Country A won 39 more medals than the total amount won by the other two. How many medals did each of the top 3 countries win? Okay. So the first thing we want to do is we want to clearly define our variables, okay? And I'm not a huge fan of X, Y, and Z. I like to name my variables with letters that deal with the word problem. So in this case, I'm going to choose A, B, and C. So I'm going to let A stand for the number of medals won by country A. And then, of course, I'm going to let B be the number of medals won by country B, etc., right? Okay. So always clearly define them. Sometimes it's easier than other times to do that. I remember I had this problem that had to do with time spent running, walking, and biking, and distance spent running, walking, and biking within one problem. And people just put W walking, B biking, R running. And then because they didn't have it clearly defined whether they meant the distance they did those things or the time they did those things, they ended up setting up the problem incorrectly. So on this particular one, there's not a lot going on to where it's unclear, but just make sure if it's a situation where it's unclear that your variables are clearly defined. All right, now usually the way these work is that one, not always, but one sentence is usually going to be one of your equations. So I probably won't even underline that. I'll say country A, oh goodness, okay, country A, country B, country C won a total of 127 medals. Okay, so that means that the number of medals won by country A plus the number of medals won by country B plus the number of medals won by country C has to add up to 127. Then I'll go to the next sentence. Country B won 6 more medals than country C. So you want to figure out who had more. Country B won 6 more than country C. So B is the one that's bigger. So I'm going to put B equals. Now to get to B, you would have to take country C and you'd have to add 6 more because B is larger. If B were smaller, then you'd have to take country C's and subtract 6 from it, right? But before we even started, we said we can tell country B has more. So I would have to take country C and add 6 to that to get to country B. Finally, and maybe the most difficult one of them all, is this last sentence. Country A won 39 more medals than the total amount won by the other two. So again, you want to figure out who won the most. We can tell country A won the most. So A equals. Now I'm going to take the total amount won by the other two. Well, how do I figure out how much is won by the other two? B plus C is how much is won by the other two. Now to get to country A, who's bigger, sorry, I have a little glitch in the system here. All right, to get to country A, who's bigger, I would have to add 39 to whatever B and C had combined, and that'll get me to A. So here's our 3 equations for our system, okay? Now, what we can do is we can do a lot of different things. I might start off by doing substitution. So I notice right here that I know what B is, right? Well, let me just stare at this and see if that's what I want to do, actually. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take equation C, and I'm going to rewrite it so that all of the variables are on one side. So I'm going to bring B over to the other side, and I'm going to bring C over to the other side, which means they're going to be negative on the other side. Now, the reason why I want to do this is because now I am going to put equation A, maybe I should use equation 1, equation 1 with equation 3, because I can see a lot of canceling is going to happen if I do that. So I'm going to put A plus B plus C equals 127 with A minus B minus C equals 39. Now, if I add downward, A plus A is 2A, and we can see that the B and C's are going to cancel out. So now I just have to figure out what 127 plus 39 is. So 7 plus 9 is 16, carry the 1. 3 plus 2 is 5, that one more makes it 6. And so it looks like it's going to be 166. So we'll divide by 2, so both sides, and we get that A is 83. All right, so we now know how many A have, right? How many metals A won. So what we want to do is we want to figure out how many metals B and C won, okay? All right, so let's see what we can do there. We can take one of the equations, it doesn't matter which one, but it has to have an A in it, right? So let's go ahead and take this top equation, the A plus B plus C equals 127, and let's plug 83 in right there. I'm going to take away 83 from both sides. So I have that B plus C equals, looks like that's going to be 44. And now what I can do is I can put this equation with equation 2, okay? What do we know B is? B is C plus 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put right here C plus 6 and for the B. So we have C plus 6, but don't forget your other plus C, and now we'll be able to solve for C. So C plus C is going to get us 2C. Oops, I'll go with the plus 6. So we're going to take away 6 from both sides. I'm going to go ahead and write that up here, you guys. So 2C equals 38. And then if we divide by 2, we get that C equals 19. Okay, so we have A and C. Now we got to try to go get B. Well, there's a really nice place to plug this in to get B, right? A nice place would be right there. So B equals C plus 6. So B equals 19 plus 6. So B equals 25. Now I always like to double check what I got. Number one, if it says that we have a total of 127 metals. So let's see if we do. 83 for A, 25 for B, and 19 for C gives us 127 total, so that's great. Now B won 6 more than C. That is true because B has 25 and C has 19, so B is 6 more. Now A has 39 more than the other two combined. So let me figure out what 19 plus 25 is. 19 plus 25 tells me the other two won 44. Now, if I add 39 to that, I should get what A has. Let's see. Oh, 83, which if you look down here in the left corner is 83. So I've not only solved it, but I've checked it just to make sure that this was correct. All right, this wasn't the only way to solve it, you guys. There's so many different ways you could have gone about solving it. If you knew B equals C plus 6, then you could plug B in for both B's. I mean, there's just a bunch of different paths you could have taken. All right, well, hopefully this helps you out with yours. Thanks for joining me.